Travis Greenlee specializes in helping entrepreneurs to enhance their lives by growing freedom-based lifestyle businesses with simplicity and ease. Wow, so simple, so juicy. Yeah, we're going to have an excitingly deep, awesome conversation. Travis, you ready to rock this?
I'm ready to rock this, brother. Let's do this.
He's ready to rock it. We're doing it. I love it, man. I love it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come on here, share with our audience and the podcast and the YouTube channel, all the great stuff we got going on. We appreciate you, man.
Right on, brother. It's an honor to be here, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to dive right into the question and the theme of today, which is upgrade your questions. And Travis, how have you specifically upgraded your questions to experience more effective results, more expansive life conditions, and being your greatest possible self?
Fantastic question, man. I mean, that's a deep question right there. I mean, I could spend hours talking about that one, right? But I think it really is. It's really, for me, it's about simplicity. It's getting rid of the head junk, getting rid of the overwhelm, the busyness, just the muck that so many of us run around with all the time. We're so busy and we're just so overwhelmed that, it just tends to overtake us. So for me personally and for my clients, it's all about simplicity. It's about breaking it down to its simplest core. And then those questions really asking what's important to you in terms of your values, your values and where you are in your life, where you're headed, that trajectory, and being able to really fit into that. And then just getting rid of the noise, man, getting rid of everything else.
Man, simplicity is key, and the best life lessons and the wisdom is those simple truths. I've been reading about the Tao, the way, right? And it's like that ancient Chinese philosophy. It's been around for thousands and thousands of years. Is so simple in its fundamental nature, and those truths are so simple. Tell us a little bit more about what you've discovered in that simplicity. What were some situations that had you discover this profound simplicity yourself?
Yeah, you bet. I mean, there's a couple of them. A couple major, experiences of my life. We could call them breakdowns. We could call them crisis. I call it a vision. Really beginning to see what's important. But the first one for me was cancer. I am actually a 2-time cancer survivor. So back in 2000, I came down with stage 4 melanoma.
Wow.
So skin cancer. It was bad. It was a scary time. They had given me a 50% chance of living beyond 2 years, and, did all the chemo and the surgeries, and I lost my hair. And I mean, it was just a crazy, crazy time. And prior to that, I was on the path. I was young. I was 24, 25, just graduated college, went to school and went to work for Merrill Lynch. So as a financial advisor and working hard and long hours, and built up a client base of about $125 million in assets. So thought I had arrived. I was living in Orange County, California, and driving a little red Saab convertible around, and had my little Merrill Lynch license plate frames and a little cell phone and my suit. And right, I mean, I laugh about it now too, like, oh God, what I got back in the day. But man, that's how I rolled in my early 20s. And what I got from all of that was just this whole stress and this push and this more and faster and all that kind of stuff is, at least personally for myself and my students and the people that I work with, is just a dead end, man. The stuff isn't the way in terms of happiness. It really is about that freedom. So it took a major breakdown in my life. I mean, to get sick, I mean, literally to be hammered to the mat. At the same time, I lost all my money. So not only was I sick, did I, come down with the cancer, but, coming from a stage of 26, 27 years old, making mid 6 figures and just killing it, right? At least seemingly so, financially anyway, to lose all that, because of the hospital bills and the copays and everything else. So not only was I sick, not only was I, going through all of that, but I went bankrupt, man. I mean, I lost it all. And so talk about an ego adjustment or a shift in terms of my identity. Up to that point, it was all about success, and I'm the most successful one of my friends, and I'm charging, and everything's, all about that. It's about more and the stuff and the nice car and the nice home and all that. And what I realized was when all that was stripped away, not necessarily out of my choice, but it was just so stripped away that I saw the miracle. And the miracle was, hey, man, there's a lot more to life than just charge, and all this stuff. For me, it's about that simplicity and stepping back and enjoying a lifestyle and having peace of mind and freedom and beautiful family. And as you know now, I live in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, a little exclusive ski resort in the northwest corner of the state. And I snow ski every morning with the boys. So we got about 8 of us that we meet up every morning and we do our 2 hours of powder skiing, and I come back and hit my desk and make calls and get to serve and support amazing people and let them light up. And it's an amazing, amazing life. And the irony now, though, is I've got all the stuff, all the stuff that was like, I was chasing, all the stuff that I was after. Once I shifted all of that, like, hey, that really isn't that important, then it's just so available. But I think it's just that mindset shift and really getting back to simplicity. I read a good book, and maybe you throw this out there. In fact, I'll give you 2 good books. What's the rating on this show, by the way? Is this a G show? Is this an R show? I mean, can I drop some F-bombs if I need to, or like, what do we got going on?
If you need to, yes, use it with discretion.
With discretion. I just wanted to check in, man, make sure it's okay, Yes. But so 2 good books that I would recommend. Number 1 is Essentialism. So Essentialism is absolutely fantastic, and the whole premise is less is more. Less is better. And what I mean by that is just streamlining your day, streamlining your to-do list, streamlining your actions, and all the stuff that we get so busy and we get so addicted to, right? To just streamline that and get back to the most essential aspects of your life, your relationships, your health, your wealth, so on and so forth. So that was a huge turning moment for me. And then the other book is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. Fantastic book. I would highly recommend it. It's a little edgy. It's a little raw, as you can tell by the title of it. But I tell you, it is an absolute life changer. And if you haven't read that or listened to the audiobook, I would highly recommend that as well. And again, it's just about stop chasing the stuff. Get back to what is important to you in your life. And so that really is the premise and the essence and really the foundation of all my work and my work with my students and my clients and helping them to create these types of lives as well. It's been fantastic.
I love it, man. I love it. So you're helping people to create this lifestyle that they've always dreamed of. And I'm sure there's an idea of what it might take to actually achieve that. And then you get to come in and, 1, guide them along the path, but 2, provide support and resources and the proper expectations of what that might take and the key distinctions that would really get them to where that they want to go. So along your own journey, what were some of the key distinctions that you had to discover in addition to the essentialism and really not needing all that stuff? What else did you learn to become an effective business mentor and coach?
Great points. And so I think a lot of it is just clarity. Getting to the point of, and I think this is so difficult. In fact, this is probably the most difficult aspect to really grasp for most of my students and the people that I work with. And, a lot of times people think that they're clear and they think they know the path that they're on. But, it's like that old analogy of, you climb so hard up the ladder and all of a sudden you get to the top of the ladder. You're like, oh shit, I'm in the wrong building, man.
Oh, yeah.
Over there, right? And I see a lot of that as opposed to really doing that foundational work and getting clear about your values, what you hold so valuable to you and so important to you, and then beginning to create your life around that. Creating your life around the lifestyle. Again, it's what I got from going through that cancer is, hey man, life is short. Life is short. Life is delicate. None of us know really how long we're going to be here. And I think if you've gone through a challenge like that or, sort of a crisis in a lot of respects to really kind of wake you up, that's when you see that moment of clarity. And I've had several of them in my life. One of them was I had a digital marketing agency a couple of years ago. And so I thought, man, this is the ladder, man. It's hot. Digital marketing is hot. And this is what everybody needs. And so on and so forth. So, man, I got in hard and heavy. And this is back in the day, back in 8-9 years ago when it was all brand new. Created a digital marketing agency, built it up, scaled it up, got to the point where, my burn rate and my My resources were, $25,000, $30,000 a month or more, just in payroll.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the pressure on that,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and so what I realized, and this is last year, so I just turned 50, and hit that big 50. And what I realized we were making great money, certainly more money than I've ever made in my entire life. But I remember waking up one day and I got out of bed. I'm like, you know what? I hate this. I just cannot do this anymore. And what I mean by that is what happened was the business is kind of morphed and morphed and morphed. And I'm much more of a right brain guy, sort of like you. We love to inspire and we love to empower and we love to coach and strategy and all those kind of things. It's just awesome, right? I mean, it's so much fun. There's so much energy around it. Left brain, not so much. Numbers, taxes, details, customer support, like managers managing managers. And that's what the business became. Yeah. And so all of a sudden I woke up one day, I'm like, how did I get here? Right. But the trap is the money. The money was the trapping is like, I got the money and now raise the lifestyle. So now we're spending more and it just becomes such a trap. And so really looking over that. So what I did was I said, you know what, I'm just going to take some time off. And it was the first time in 25 years since I started my career back in Merrill Lynch. I'm like, I'm going to take 3 months off. Wow. We sold a couple of our properties, so we liquidated some stuff. We made it possible to be able to do that. But I took 3 months off, and I got deep into meditation, and I got, we did a cleanse, and we just, all this stuff just to get as clear and as centered and as focused as I could possibly get, more than I've ever been in my life. Read Essentialism, read The Subtle Art, and all these things was like, the messages are coming from all the different places, was simplify, man. Get back to your roots, get back to what you love, get back to what you're passionate about, because life is short. Really taking inventory on that, on our own values and what's important to us. So I did it. It was risky, but I was like, that's it. So decided I sold the business. So liquidated that and got back to what I love, which is the coaching, the consulting, the programs, the design, the creative aspect, which for me is like joy. It's the energy, it's the excitement. So, and the irony, the income obviously dropped for a while and dropped a bit. But it was okay, and to sort of reinvent myself at 50 years old is kind of a scary thing for a lot of people too. But I was like, I don't care. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to trust. I'm going to give it to God. I'm going to give it to the universe and just let it happen. Let it roll the way it did. And like anything, we got back and all of a sudden I got clear and started attracting the clients that I love working with that inspired me. Now I get as much out of them as they get out of me, and that kind of relationship. And so now I get out of bed, I'm fired up and I'm excited, I'm passionate. And because of that, now the income is back. In fact, the income's better than it's ever been, but I don't have the hassles, man. I don't have the details and the managers and the this and that. So it's course correction, constantly looking at ourselves and certain things that you do. And one of the big things that I would recommend is, and if you guys haven't gotten into this, definitely check out Hal Elrod's The Miracle Morning.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got, The Miracle Morning. He's got books on it. He's got a huge Facebook group, 120,000 people or something following it. But The Miracle Morning is all about creating your morning routine. And it's absolutely essential for your success and really for your happiness and your well-being, is just to get dialed into the routine that works for you. And so mine's very simple. I get up in the dark. I get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. My wife's she's a night owl, so she's sleeping in the morning, gives me time in front of the fireplace with my dogs, and I stretch and I drink my water and I do my meditation. I do breathing and exercise and reading and just get centered, get connected. Journaling is critical. Absolutely got to be journaling every single day. I mean, it is so critical in terms of making sure that you're climbing the right ladder. On a consistent basis, because what we tend to do is we get so busy with what we're doing, handling all the different things and, all the spinning plates that we've got going on in our families and our businesses and our lives and everybody else, that it's super easy, just like an airplane, flying, all of a sudden you just get a little off course.
Just a little couple degrees.
Just a little degree can make a huge difference, right? And not a good way.
Right.
And so same thing with us. We've got to constantly be course correcting. And the only way that we can do that is by taking time, meditation, journaling, prayer, breathing, heart math. I would highly recommend as another resource, Heart Math. If you guys haven't seen that, what Heart Math is a tool. So it's a resource, and I use it on my smartphone, on my iPhone. But it's this little app that you put on. It has this little sensor that you put on your ear. And what it does is as you breathe to this sensor, it indicates your heart rate, your pulse, your energy, all of that. And it pulls it all together to show you. And it's in colors. So it'll be red, blue, or green. So it'll show you where you are in your state tangibly. So if you're stressed out and you're feeling that way, man, you'll be in the red. Right. And then as you start to get kind of chilled out and kind of get into the zone and start to get centered, it'll go, into the blue and into the green. And the whole goal is obviously to keep it in the green and to stay in that coherent state for, 10, 15, 20 minutes. But I'm telling you, you do this every single day, you will not believe what it'll do for you in terms of your clarity. Wow. We always talk about, energy. The law of attraction is like, are you operating at a high frequency or are you operating at a low frequency? It's all about energy. Low frequency is when we're depressed, when we're down, when we're stuck, when we're immobilized, when we're in fear, when we're any of the negative stuff. We can't see through the forest through the trees. We're so blinded by all of that. Whereas when we're operating the high frequency, when we're feeling love and we're feeling contribution and we're feeling positive and confident and light and open, that's where we're inspired. That's where we have that clarity to really begin to determine, like, what do we want and are we on that path and what type of course correction do we need? So, the key is to get into that state as consistently and as often as we possibly can. And as we do, everything just runs so much smoother, so much easier, and it's a hell of a lot more fun, man.
Yes. Amen. Amen.
Right? Here's to fun.
That's right. That's right, man. I love that you took like such a radical leap of, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not satisfied with my life. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to give myself that space because so many people are on that hamster wheel of life. And if you don't have 3 months to take off, which most people don't, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. You can start with 5 freaking minutes a day. Start with what you got. Start with what you can. Do what you can, and the rest will take care of itself. And I love that you mentioned that because I'm doing a 10-day silent meditation retreat I told you about at the end of this month. I'm super, super stoked just to rediscover, reconnect to that presence of me, my soul, my spirit, and what that guiding compass is within me. So for everyone out there, our invitation to you is to give yourself that space and be radical about it. Take a weekend, if that's all you can do, take a weekend, a Saturday and a Sunday to just go somewhere and get away. Go to, a beach, like sleep in your car, sleep at a hotel, whatever it is, like get in that space to just reconnect with who you are. Turn off the phone, turn off the electronics, and just like give yourself a reset because that's one of the most powerful things that we can do to get that clarity.
Yep. Absolutely agree. The most important thing. I mean, a lot of times people say, how do you build a successful business and have the lifestyle and the freedom and the stuff and everything else? All that is it comes as a result of everything that we're talking about here. I mean, the mindset piece and the clarity and that connection is 95% or more of it. It really is the secret to success. And I know we've all heard this stuff, right? It's not, people are listening like, I've heard it all before. But the difference is, what are you doing about it?
That's right.
There's a big difference in hearing it from a theoretical perspective. And there's another difference of actually having your miracle morning routine every morning.
Yeah.
Taking a Friday off or Saturday off, no cell phones, getting away from technology, getting away from the digital noise and just everything else, and actually doing the stuff is what we're talking about. And because it's so simple, unfortunately, that's where most people just don't do it. Yeah. So then they don't see the results, right? So I would just encourage everybody, just do it, man. Give it a shot. Give it a try. You will love what you find as a result.
Amen. And what else? I love that we can declare something to the public. We can declare something to our mentors or coaches or people who we look up to and say, hey, I'm committed to making this happen. And people want to help. People want to jump in and add value and be of service. And it's simply about reaching out. It's simply about stepping up to the plate and saying, this is something that actually matters to me, and I'm willing to do something about it. I'm willing to get uncomfortable enough to let someone know I know who I look up to, or ask for help, or reach out and get that support. And I know, Travis, you are someone who's building communities. That's a huge part of what you do. So why don't you share with us a little bit more about that? community driven, accountability, power in numbers philosophy that's really served you in your life?
Without doubt. I mean, it's the energy. It's that just that positive energy. It's the environment. In fact, I'm reading another great book right now I'd highly recommend. It's called Willpower Doesn't Work. Willpower doesn't work. Wow. And what that means is, we all think about, we've got a goal or something that we want or something that we want to do. And we're going to go out, we're going to have the willpower. We're going to force ourselves to do it. Or it could be willpower not to do it. For instance, like, if I got a plate of cookies laying on my counter, I'm going to eat the suckers, man. I mean, I love cookies. Even though I want to be trim and fit and feel great, man, I'm going to eat the cookies. Yeah. So willpower only goes so far. My point around this and this whole book and the philosophy around it, and it's just so powerful, is environment. The power of environment and the power of tribe and, what an environment could be a lot of different things, starting with the people that you hang with. You've heard the phrase, we become the average of the 5 people that we associate with the most, the people that we're talking to and the influences that we have. And, a lot of times we just take it for granted. We don't think about it. Our buddies, our drinking buddies, or like my ski buddies, God bless them. I love them. But they're my ski buddies, right? They're not entrepreneurs. They're not out there kicking ass. They're most of them retired and doing their thing. So it's great to hang with them. But I could begin to feel it. And I really did near the end of the ski season where I had 3 months of consistent conversation with this. It started to even pull me down. I started to get pull into that, I don't need to push, this is fine. All I want to do is ski and hang out. And so it's that environment. We really need to be careful of our environments. Another thing is the food. Right? I mean, the food that we have in our homes, the food that we have available, it's just such a subconscious thing. And success and creating this is all about energy, right? So feeding our bodies to have as high energy as we can to attract and to generate. It's all about the environment. So your people, your food, it's your office space. Everybody's like, Travis, your office is so great. It's so beautiful. I'm like, yeah, it's sort of like my stage, my sound set, right? But I keep it very intentional. I keep it clean. I keep it powerful. I mean, this is like Power Central. This is where I get shit done, right? Like really cool stuff. So it's environment and the people and the environment and the space. Another thing is being in places that inspire you. So back to your question is like tribe and people is, going to events, right? Going to events that like people are up there and you're seeing other people that are successful and doing the things and have done the things that you want to do. It's like, model it, man. Just get in there and follow them and see what they're up to. Vacations. I'm going to Cabo with my wife next week. We take vacations all the time. Yeah, Cabo's awesome, right?
I went last year. It was amazing.
Oh, man. Barefoot in the sand, man. It's like, after a long winter, I'm like, I'm looking forward to it. But I intentionally put myself into this. It's all piece of the lifestyle is when we're in these environments, we feel it. We feel it to our core and it just gets into that subconscious. And then the subconscious starts saying this is how things are. This is how my life is. I deserve these types of moments. I deserve this type of lifestyle and really to treat yourself well. Whereas I see so many people, they get so tight and they hold, they don't enjoy themselves. They don't put themselves out there and it's just costing them. So really important in terms of the different environments that we have right now and really taking a look at that and really analyzing that, journal about it, say, what environments do you have with your food? What do you have with your friends? What do you have with your mastermind, the people that you're working with, your teams, and then say what's working and what's not working in terms of your trajectory and where you're headed. And then you got to make some serious decisions. Maybe you got to let some friends go or get rid of that plate of cookies or whatever that might be. Environment is critical. Back to your question on tribe, I'm all about tribes. So I've got a couple tribes that I run. One is called the Epic Men Tribe. So it's primarily for men, in the 45 to 65 range that are leaders, guys that have been successful before, they're entrepreneurial, and they're at that stage of life where they're just kind of reinventing themselves. They've raised families, they've made money, they've had successes, they've built businesses, and now they're saying, what's next, man? what it is all about. So I saw the power in that, said, look, I'm going to put together a tribe. We got over 10,000 guys now roaring, and it's just great. It's fun. And what it does is it has me rise, being the leader, basically because I just put this thing together. It's just an idea like, hey, I want to be part of something like this. Might as well create it. And so did, and it's growing and growing and growing and kind of taking on a life of its own. And that's it forces you to step up in terms of leadership, forces you out of your comfort zone and to do things maybe that you normally wouldn't necessarily do unless you had a tribe to lead. And of course, the relationships and the bonds and being able to communicate and share deep things that maybe you wouldn't share with a business partner or a spouse or whomever. You have those opportunities. So got the Epic Life tribe, or the Epic Men tribe. Another tribe that I'm super excited about is our Lifestyle Business tribe. So again, my whole brand is helping people to build lifestyle businesses, freedom-based lifestyle businesses. So this is where we all get together, and whether it's a coach or a consultant or an expert or a service professional, we've got network marketers, people that are just into creating a life. The lifestyle comes first. The lifestyle is the most important, and then building a business around that. So you've got the time and the space to do the things that you truly love to do, because life is short, man. So many of these people that are on this treadmill and they're in the office and they're like, what? There's got to be something else out there. I can tell you there is. There absolutely is. But you got to have some balls. You got to be able to step up and, push through that fear, which is a big one. Of course, that's all about the growth, to be able to step out. So that's why we created this tribe, so that we're not here alone, and we can all face our fears together, and we can, share different tips and tools and resources to be able to do that, to be able to grow a true freedom-based lifestyle business. And, it's my life's work. It's what excites me. It's what gets me out of bed in the morning again. And we just got a great, great group of going. So I would encourage all of you guys, come join us, man. It's so awesome. You'd love our tribe.
I love it. So going back to how we get to this point, it starts with clarity on what we want, that vision, the values that will drive it, and really being centered in what we want. And then when we get that picture, it's all about finding the support, the resources, the mentors, the coaches, the people, the community, the environment that's going to help us create that reality. So, Travis, what have you noticed about people building their home-based lifestyle, home-based business, and having the lifestyle that they want? What's the biggest challenge that they experience on the journey to fulfilling that?
Great question. I think fear. Fear is just the biggest one of, can I do it? Will it work? Can I leave the comfort of my job? If they've got a solid paycheck that maybe they've had for their entire lives, and they hate their jobs, but man, they got security. They got that paycheck every month. So thinking about what it would be like to not have that is mind-boggling for so many people. I mean, they just can't handle it, and I get it. Again, especially if that's what you've been ingrained and programming and what you feel comfortable, and you need that sense of control. But what I found is the true joy and the true fulfillment in life is, again, pushing through that and pushing through those fears. So the biggest one is fear. Coming up of fear of success, fear of failure, fear of change, fear of what people are going to say. Your family members, you're leaving your job to do what? And caring so much about what other people think about us. So there's all those things wrapped into it, into our identities that we've known ourselves to be. But again, the power is surrendering and moving through that. And that's the power of the tribe. And of course, the power of a coach. We just can't do this stuff on our own. There's just absolutely no way. We have the willpower, we've got the intention, we've got the plans, we've got the excitement, but then we go out and say, all right, what's the first step? I'm not sure. And what's the second step? Well, I don't know. I don't even know what the first step is. So then they spin wheels, and then you get deeper in this fear, and you get this overwhelm, and that whole fear becomes a self-fulfilling philosophy. So, so the fear is a big one. And then having that tribe to help you to overcome that and push through that. And it's all about competence. Competence creates confidence. And so competence means, try. One simple word is, hey, man, just try. Get out there and just try it. And, if you fail, fine, you're going to learn. You're going to fail forward. In fact, I'm all about failing as much and as fast as I possibly can, because that's where you learn. And that's how you grow as fast. But so many people equate failure and fear of like what that means to their identity, or what people are going to think about them, or it's a bad thing, or there's so much judgment around it. But when you can flip that around, I think that's where what I love so much about entrepreneurs and lifestyle business owners is they get that, hey man, I want to fail, I want to learn, I want to learn quickly, and I want to move through it. And as fast as you can do that, that's where you're going to begin to gain the confidence, to learn the different skill sets that it takes. And it's a different animal altogether. Yeah. I mean, for those that, again, have had corporate jobs or even businesses where you got a sales manager walking around behind you and kind of managing and holding you accountable, and you're there, it's man, you work, right? But when you got a home-based business and you've got a lifestyle business, there ain't nobody around to be pushing on your shoulder. You got to be able to create that whole new sense of accountability and motivation and showing up and treating it as if your boss is looking over your shoulder. So there's
I'm curious,
a whole bunch to it.
Curious for you, Travis, what would you recommend, or what have you done yourself to maybe take on these fears in, it could be in the business arena and revolve around business, although I think people are attached to the results of that, and it might be more difficult to go play there and fail forward faster there. Yeah. Is there like another training ground where people could go to train themselves to be impervious or hardened to failure and be able to seek that out, be able to go after that uncomfortability and face it head on? Yeah,
you bet. It's just action. Rather than thinking about it, so many people just try and think, they're like, I'm going to think my way into confidence. I'm going to read the books. I'm going to listen to the audio. I'm going to, attend the seminars. I'm going to think and analyze. And what we do is we just ended up taking ourselves into the abyss. Yeah. Again, thinking doesn't build confidence. Activity builds that confidence and breaks through that fear. So it's back to the word try. It's like, what? I'm just going to try it. I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm just going to try it. If I win, great. If it works out, awesome. If it doesn't, hey, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to, it's not about being bad or failure. It's about just continuing to learn and to grow and to expand. And again, it's very difficult to do this alone. Right? Because we make so much meaning about it, and we all get in our own heads, and we just become immobilized so that we don't try and we don't in action, and we get stuck in procrastination. I mean, how many people out there right now are stuck in procrastination? You need to make the calls, you need to do the networking, the different action steps you need to be doing for the business, but how many of you are really doing it consistently? Being honest, right? Literally being honest. Not many. And that's because we get stuck in this whole procrastination based on fear. And that's why the tribe. We can't do this alone. So it's just being around, whether it's a mastermind, joining a mastermind, hiring a coach. I mean, I've always felt the best is one-on-one. Like, dude, find somebody that's done what you want to do, that's doing what you want to do, that's proven that they're doing it with and for others. So not just themselves, but actually they're, time tested, that they can serve and support others as well. And lock arms, man. Roll up your sleeves, surrender, trust, be coachable. That's a big one I see too. Is people I was going to ask that specifically around that because I'm sure there's lots of people who want a coach, and as a mentor and coach yourself, what do you recommend to people so that they can be more coachable, so that they can be more adaptive to the feedback that they get and the change? Totally. Great question. Number one is just to, again, get back to self-awareness. So, the miracle morning, the meditation, like really taking a look at who they're being throughout the day, their actions. So almost kind of like stepping outside of themselves and becoming the observer, looking in like, whoa, did you just say that? And whoa, did you just do that? And if you do that, if you start taking that time, start making more of a habit out of it, that's when you really begin to see things that like just don't work for you. So that's certainly number one. And then again, getting a mentor, getting somebody that can help you see some of these things that you just can't see yourself. We're so close to our own stuff. So that would be it, is hire a coach. Really. I mean, it's a lot of times people say, I'm afraid, I'm not sure, if I want to make the investment, I'm not sure I'll get the return on the investment. You always will. Whether it comes in a month or 3 months or 6 months or whenever it comes, it's going to come. Yeah. So, it's just about breaking through that. You mentioned being coachable, and this is something I see a lot. It's something where, when I talk with a strategy session and really kind of interviewing a potential client, one of the things I really look for is, are they coachable? Because I certainly can't help them. I can't help them to get the results that they want if they're not coachable. Most people are not coachable because they're so in their own way, because they're unconscious. Again, they're not conscious of who they're being and what's going on, and they're stuck in the victim mode. Right? Most of us as humans we're programmed. The ego wants us to be victims, wants us to blame other people and blame circumstances and woe is me and things should be different and I should be further along in life and I should have more money and I should be more fit and I should. Right? We should all over ourselves. Right? You heard that before? And we absolutely do that because the ego is programmed to keep us in that victim mode. And then, of course, we've got media, we've got television and print media and social media. And, the thing you do on social media is you're looking at everybody's highlight reels of their trips to Cabo and this and that. And they're like, well, Travis gets to go to Cabo. Why don't I get to go? And then you start judging and start comparing. You start doing all, and I do it. And I look at leaders and I look at all these guys. I'm like, God, I'm doing okay, but man, look at these guys. They're doing so much better. And then we start to really kind of pull our self-worth down, and then we become a victim, and then we just get in our own way. We start over-analyzing things to the point where we're just not coachable. We have it handled. We know it all. Right? As opposed to the biggest secret, the biggest turnaround for me was I was like, I am just going to surrender no matter what I know or what I think I know and just be a humble student and a humble servant and just let God take care of the rest. And I tell you, brother, that was the absolutely pinnacle turning point of my entire life and my career.
Was there a specific moment where that happened, or like a mentor, a specific mentor who was challenging you in a specific way, or do you remember when that was?
Over and over and over, many mentors just beating the shit out of me over the years. Because I came out of Merrill Lynch, young, successful. I think I had it together, and then so the cancer was a big one. That was like a big whoa, wake up call. Yeah. Who are you, right? I mean, what do you really want? So that woke me up. But then you come out of that, and all of a sudden that ego starts coming back, and that pride starts coming back. You start having some successes, and then you start owning it like, this is all about me. I created this, and then boom, and then we fall, and then it's this self-sabotage. So it's that cycle that we tend to go through, but we really don't need that cycle if we can just focus on and get clear and conscious. Wake up to the fact that we don't know it all, and we're not that cool, and we're not, all that and everything else. And we're really, if we could just be humble servants and really serve and support others, providing as much value as we possibly can to other people, regardless if we get paid or not. Getting paid is great, but just focus on the value. The money's going to come, and the success and the peace of mind and the security, and I think everything that most people are after.
Man, so powerful. Dude, I'm loving this. And this is gold.
Yeah, baby!
If you have any questions for Travis, drop them in the comments right now. We had Elle. She commented, overanalysis causes paralysis. Curtis said, design a life. And Elle mentioned those book titles that you wrote or talked about earlier. So, Elle, thanks for writing those down. And Travis, what's the best piece of wisdom that you've ever received from a coach or mentor?
Whew, that's a big one, man. The best piece. I think just be coachable. Surrender. Just surrender, man. Just get out of your own way, surrender, trust, whether that's God, whether that's the universe, whether it's the specific coach, whatever it is like, just trust and surrender. And it sounds easy enough, but it's a scary thing to do for most people. It's scary for me to do in the very beginning as well. But the more that you do it, it's like a muscle. When you work that muscle out, it just gets easier and easier and more comfortable and more natural. And it's just a part of who you become. So surrender. Again, just surrender.
I love it. Allowing, the art of allowing, such a magical thing. Such a magical thing. So, Travis, you're very, energetically attractive, like magnetic. You pull things to you. Like, we can tell you have a gravitational field of awesomeness. How did you develop that? What does that take?
Good. It's the routine. Yeah. It's absolutely the routine. So it's, the miracle morning, it's the stretching, it's the reading, it's the breathing, it's daily cardio. daily exercise. So constantly, moving my blood, I spend a lot of time in nature. So, we've got up around our property here. I do my daily dog walks with my pups. And so just get out there and take it in and just feel it and just connect with it. So yeah, it's a process, it's just about managing my state consistently, because I've got a dark side. We've all got a dark side. I've been in dark places. In fact, I'm coming out of a dark place. Over the last month and a half, 2 months ago, I got the flu really, really bad. I mean, the worst that I've ever had in my entire life. Everybody here in town was sick, and I never get the flu. I got my flu shots this year as well, but because a lot of it was mental, I was just, I opened up that state to allow this to come in, and brother, it kicked my ass. I mean, I literally didn't leave the couch for 10 days, just like all the symptoms that you can imagine. And it's a pretty dark place, because then I started going into scarcity. I wasn't able to serve, and I wasn't able to connect with my tribe, and I felt so isolated, and it just really got to a dark place. So, I mean, it took me 10 days, 2 weeks to kind of pull out of that. But fortunately, again, we can pull out of that. Everyone listening, you're feeling it. I'm telling you, you can pull out of it, but you got to start to create your routines. It doesn't happen naturally. It doesn't happen. Some of us have higher energy than others, but it's manufacturing, right? It's just creating that energy and having the process, the miracle morning, getting your exercise, being around positive people is huge. If you're around downers, again, your environment, watch your environments is a huge piece of it. So I am just super, super intentional around all of that. Fortunately, I have an amazing wife. She's a professional violinist. She's a coach. She teaches children. So she's up and she's pumped and she's always like excited. So she's my rock and she's my battery as well. When I'm down, she fires me up. And so it's about the tribe, having people around you that are up and, and can help you to get into that state as well.
I love it, man. I love it. Let's talk about legacy. What does that mean to you, and what are you creating in your legacy, Travis?
Yeah, it's really just, to touch as many people as I possibly can while I'm here, whether that's, another week, another month, another 2 years. I mean, I really don't know. 2-time cancer survivor is like, I really don't know. None of us really know, but I mean, I certainly really don't know. So mine isn't so much thinking about like what I'm going to create so much for when I'm gone, legacy, and like leave my name and how important that is. I see a lot of ego in that. Yep. Mine is more of living in the moment to the best that I possibly can, not the past, not worrying and being so anxious about the future and what I'm going to leave and all of that. It's about, hey, focus on the present, serve and support, provide as much value as we can for the people that are in our lives, that we're lucky and we're blessed and we're gifted enough to be around. Do the best work that we can right now. And who knows what's going to show up in the future, man? I mean, really, none of us do. So legacy's sort of an awkward, a lot of people are like, they want to build something to have their name live on. For me, it's not so much about that. Mine's much more about in the moment, in the present.
I love it, man. I love it. What is one characteristic, if you could supercharge this characteristic about yourself, what would that one thing, if you could turn the knob up to 10, 11, 12 on that one characteristic, what would you do? What would you change or amplify?
Probably to be just relentless, just absolutely relentless. So no matter what, no matter what comes my way, the ups, the downs, the exciting things, the challenges, the fears, all the stuff that comes, but just to be relentless through all of it and just feel that power from being in that state and then continue to just push it and multiply it and expand that energy. There's so much power around it. Right. And just not quitting, being consistent, being persistent, facing your fears, pushing through your fears, growing, and just being relentless, I think.
What does being relentless for the rest of 2018 look like for you?
Oh, man, we got some good stuff going on. So super excited. So I've just got amazing people in my life. And like you mentioned, the more that we appreciate it, the more that we attract it. So it's building our tribe, connecting with more super cool people, serving, supporting, just growing them, growing us, growing everyone together, enjoying that. Of course, growing the business, growing the income. I mean, we're we're doing very well, and we're on a fantastic trajectory for that. And the benefit, or really the most exciting aspect, is I'm not focusing on that. I'm just focusing on the relationships and providing that value. More freedom in my life. I'm going to go heli skiing next year, so I'm really working off the bucket list, now versus later. Yes. So, spending more time with friends and doing more, road biking in Northern California in the wine country. We're doing that this year, and Cabo next week. So adventure, a lot of adventure, a lot of play time, a lot of rejuvenation time, meeting new people and doing that with new people is really what I'm excited about this year.
Yeah. And I hear like relentless as an access to living the most fulfilled life. And that includes play, adventure, challenging yourself to grow, earn more money, impact more people, travel, all of it. It's just like that relentlessness of who can I truly become.
Yeah, play the game, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is a game, if we're going to play it, why not play it full out while we can? I mean, why not? I mean, if we've got a game that's worthy of playing, and when I say that, you see, that's where most people say, oh, I would love to have a game like that, but they just don't have that game. They're sitting in their cubicle and they're at work and like, I just want to be passionate. I want to have a game. That's another bit of advice is find your game.
Yeah,
whatever that is, whether it's a new business, it's a partnership, it's a product, it's a tribe, starting your own tribe. I mean, Facebook groups, you could have a group up in 10 minutes, man. Start attracting cool people in and start getting your mastermind. Doesn't cost you a dime. You got Facebook Lives. I mean, so much we could do around this. So figure out what your game is. Again, tough to do on your own. So hire a coach, get into a tribe, get a mentor, get somebody that can help you to get that, that vision of the game around, but find your game that is worthy of playing and worthy of playing full out. And man, just play that game. And there's nothing like it, man. It's going to get you out of bed just like, whoa. And then you go to bed at night like, oh my God, what another amazing day. And then as you start to repeat the cycle, you start to, at first it'll be 1 or 2 days a week, and then you're going to come up against your shit. And it's just happens, right? It's part of life. But the more that we do this, the more that we can be in this state, the more consistent it becomes, to the point where it just becomes natural. It just becomes habit. But it starts with that first step of, what's your game, man? Are you playing a game that inspires you to get your ass out of bed in the morning and be excited, and to go to bed at night like fulfilled and satisfied and like, today was a great day, man. I had these conversations and I hung out with Chris and Chris's tribe, and right? I mean, there's so much opportunity right now. It is insane how much opportunity right now. If we could just get past this little living, this small living, and this fear, try it, trust it, get out there, know you're going to fail, but you're going to learn from the failure. And why not, man? Play that game.
That's right. That's right, man. And one more final kind of cherry on top question. If you could choose to have one thought as the last thought that you ever think, what would that thought be?
Whoa. Oh, man. You should let me think about this before these questions, man. That's a big one right there. One thought, my last thought, love. Yeah, I mean, it would just be love. Yeah. One thought of just, being so grateful, gratitude and grateful of just the loving relationships and just this wonderful life. So gratitude and love, I think, would be it. That's the way I want to check out. I want to be in my bed with my wife, nice and cozy. Yeah. In that state, or skiing off a cliff, one of the two. But I want it to be quick and easy. So one of the two. This is it. I'm grateful. All the way. Come on. It's over. That'd be a quick, great way to go, man. Doing what I love.
I love it, man. I've never asked anyone that question, so you did great.
It's a great one.
I love it, man. I love it. So,
right
Travis,
on, brother.
How do people stay connected with you, and what do you want them to do next, man?
Yeah, you bet. Come join our tribe. Come hang out. So we've got our Facebook group. It's lifestylebusinesstribe.com. We'll take you to our Facebook group. We'd love to have you. Come on over and let us know who you are and what you're up to and what you want, what you're excited about, the game that you're playing, the game that you want to create, and how we can help you. How we can support you to live into that and to really begin to express that fully. So we got a kick-ass tribe. Love to have each of you. It's lifestylebusinesstribe.com.
Boom. Love it. Dude, Travis, you are full of energy, man. Boom!
Oh, baby!
Full of energy, full of wisdom, full of life. Thank you for sharing it with our tribe here. And you
Awesome.
are a tribe builder, community. Dude, I love it, man. Thank you for who you are and what you bring to this world. And this is just the beginning, man.
Right on, brother. It's an honor. Thank you for having me and hanging out with your tribe and all. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor, my friend.
Thank you, man. We'll see you soon, okay?
All right. Peace, brother.